Hi everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Natalie. If this is the first time that you're watching my videos, I am a Western tropical astrologer and I use a whole sign house system for all my forecasts and readings. In this video, we are talking about this week astrology forecast, and this week we have a lot happening. The week starts off with one of the most intense and tough, maybe a little rough astrology aspect in 2026, and the build up of this energy has been happening since the new moon. So last week the energy is really building up, and with all those Mercury aspect that is creating, I just really needed the weekend to kind of take a little mental break for myself. But I do want to talk about it, how I'm seeing this energy played out. So this is the week of May 25th to 31st of 2026. And last week we had a lot of Mercury aspect that is happening. We have that Sun conjunct Uranus that is happening the first time. And we will still have those happen every Gemini season for the next 6-7-ish year. But that happened on May 22nd. And then we also have the Mercury sextile Saturn in Aries, and we also have a lot of mercurial energy, and Mercury rules Gemini. So there's a lot of information, there's a lot of news. And if you watch my previous video about the Taurus new moon, or if you watch some other astrologers shared about that Taurus new moon, it's really about, because the moon was conjunct Algo, so there's this sense of speaking out energy that for some, maybe this is in your personal life, you know, maybe there's situation, relationship that you are no longer wanting to tolerate. You are speaking up and speaking out, or maybe on a collective level, this is you speaking up for a cause, you know, fighting for the injustice and standing up what you want to believe in, right? And for those who watch, you know, pay attention to the news regarding to the global sumo Futela, we knew that end of April there was a arrest of, I think it was 400 activists, and the most recent was just the past week, right? Another, I believe, 150 unarmed activists across different countries that was captured by the It's Not Real soldiers and was forced into, I think it was like a sea container prison that they're being held in the international waters, which violate all kinds of rules that you can imagine and laws. But still, it's not real, it's not it's not being held accountable for, right? They arrest all these 150 activists against their will. They are unarmed, and they are, I think all of them are released and sent back to their home this week. And many of them are speaking out and sharing their stories of what kind of horrific torture and treatment that they have to endure within the few days of their imprisonment, right? The so-called fake immigration that they have to go through, so many injuries, and so many sexual assault cases. And all of these brave souls, you know, they volunteer to deliver aid to people that are suffering from the genocide in Gaza. And they were in international waters, but It's Not Real still don't give a SHIT, right? And this time, I think this is the most violent capture. because of the magnitude of the injuries that they suffered, the sexual assault that they suffered. It just breaks my heart, like when they can openly admit like doing this to people around the world, disregarding all those governments and system. Can you imagine what kind of animalistic, horrific things that they're doing to the Palestinian on a daily basis for the past 78 years, almost 8 decades? It's just, I'm just boiling with anger and sadness and disappointment. So I really need to take the weekend to just kind of calm myself down and just take a little mental break. So that's why this video is being recorded and uploaded on Monday instead. So my apologies for the slight delay, but I do see how all the astrology energy played out, you know, not the way we wanted, of course, but is coming up on a mundane level for the collective, and all these accumulate to what is happening on Monday, on Tuesday actually. This is the aspect I want to talk about. It's actually 25th and 26th. We have the first one is the sun in Gemini square North Node in Pisces at 4 degrees. But the main caveat that I want to talk about is the Mars in Taurus square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 5 degrees. This is a very volatile, aggressive, violent energy. This can be an extreme of Martian energy. And in the sign of Taurus, Mars is not comfortable, right? It's struggling, is in exile in Taurus. That's why the energy can sometimes be even more explosive, right? It can be very destructive, you know, the square with Pluto. This can be very we can see this extreme power struggle dynamics playing out, and we can definitely see that on a collective level regarding to what I've just shared. And maybe for some personally, there is this energy playing out in your personal life too, right? Maybe there's this extreme, and very unfortunate for some that there's this very extreme power struggle that is happening within your life regarding to a relationship. You know, maybe it's a abusive relationship, a situation that you have been moving through, and you know, today we reached that accumulation point, and this is a friction, right? Square is a conflict, is a tension, is a friction that we need to move the energy, and it requires us to take action. And the sun square North Node is also kind of like go hands in hands in this aspect, in my own opinion, because the sun square North Node is also asking us to answer the call, right? To maybe this Mars square Pluto is pushing you to the point where you need to take action for your sake, right? That you need to make a decision, an important change or decision in your life to move the needle, to no longer maybe stay in this abusive situation, relationship, or maybe this is to move that energy, right? The aspect that is happening the next day on 26 also kind of relates to the Mars square Pluto, because we have the sun in Gemini trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 5 degrees. So now the sun come in and trine that Pluto that was square with Mars the day before. So this can be a helpful energy, right? The sun trine Pluto is giving you that realization, that that aha moment that you can actually alchemize that energy, that tough square conflict that you have been experiencing the past few days or yesterday, right? It feels like that revelation coming that you are now receiving from that Mars square Pluto, that today you're like, oh wow, okay, this is happening, but then I can also make a choice to think differently, to move differently, to take an action that can negate that tough square between Mars and Pluto as well. And since Gemini is ruled by Mercury, it talks about, our thoughts, words, expression, communication. Trining Pluto is also a great day to do a deep dive. Maybe you are researching, you're wanting to know more. Maybe you are studying, maybe you are getting more information, and maybe you're doing something that is related to research and writing. And today is a great day to do that, to do research, to dive into rabbit holes, to learn more about certain things that you want to today as well. On May 28th, we have Venus in Cancer square Saturn in Aries at 11 degrees. So Venus talks about relationship, how we relate to one another. Squaring Saturn, this can be a day that for some, this can be a tough one, right? This can be facing the reality, having a reality check with a relationship that is in your life, whether it's romantic or platonic, one-on-one relationship. So this can also be with your friends, your colleagues, your family members. Venus square Saturn. This is a moment to see the relationship, what it is about, right? Can we continue in the long term, right? This is about taking out that rose-tinted glasses and see the reality of the nature of the relationship or the situation, right? This can be about, okay, well, we need to have a talk if we want to mend this relationship. If we want to continue, maybe we need to draw boundaries, right? Saturn is about boundaries. So today, this can be about speaking up, drawing boundaries with someone in your life regarding to a situation or relationship. This can be money matters, right? Because Venus talks about money. This can be because Venus in Cancer talks about the sense of security and safety. This squaring Saturn, this can also be that some of us are feeling maybe certain uncertainty or feeling of insecurity when it comes to the future, right? Regarding to your financial situation. This can be a day, maybe you want to schedule an appointment because you are feeling uncertain. You want to talk to your financial advisor. Maybe you're seeking advice, right? And for some, this is regarding to relationship. Like I said before, maybe you are questioning the longevity of a relationship. If this is for real, are we just doing this for fun and it's time to say goodbye, right? For some, this is a day where you are parting ways, breaking up, right? That square with Saturn is allowing you to see it what it is, right? See it as it is. And it's a day where maybe you're like, okay, you know what? I don't think this is going to last in the long run, and maybe this is for our greater good to part ways, right? And finally, the last day of May 31st, we are having our Sagittarius Full Moon happening 1:45 a.m. Pacific time or later time zone. This is May 31st, 4:45 p.m. Hong Kong time. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. The full moon is happening with the sun at 9 degrees 55 minutes in Gemini and the moon at 9 degrees 55 minutes in the sign of Sagittarius. So this full moon in some way is quite expensive because it's not making like a ton of aspect, right? The ruler of this full moon is Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter right now is in the sign of Cancer. There's this mutual reception between the moon and the ruler of this full moon. I said that because they are in each other home sign, meaning Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Jupiter is in Cancer, and the moon rules Cancer and the moon is in Sagittarius. So you see they're in each other's home sign. So there's this mutual reception between them, right? For this Sagittarius full moon. I say that there's this sense of expensiveness here because there's mutual reception, first of all, and also the moon in Sag is having a trine with Saturn in Aries. It's not exact trine yet, but it's a overcoming trine with Saturn in Aries. And there's this sense of, if we want to create our dreams, go after our desires, set our goals, right, to go for this opportunity that we want in our life, that we sometimes need to be a little bit in the Jupiter energy, right? Be more expansive and be a little bit more ferocious, right? We need to also demand a little bit more from ourselves in order to get that thing, right? That trine with Saturn and Aries is about having the discipline to actually initiate and take the needed tangible action to make things happen for ourselves, right? The necessary action in order to make things happen, right? But I will not say immediately, because there's a void of course moon, a very long void of course moon, 35 hours 59 minutes, so 36 hours essentially, after this full moon. So I'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's go back to this full moon. So the full moon is happening at 9 degrees, and that is the first decan in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Mercury. So again, there's a lot of mercurial energy here, and we're in Gemini season, which is also ruled by Mercury. So this decan is also represented by 8 of Wands in the tarot deck. So you can see it's a fast moving energy card. All these 8 wands are like shooting out, right? There's no people in this card. You can see that the wands are just like coming out, coming down. They're in this like speed of like firing off, right? So you can see this card is representing swiftness, movement, fast pace. Because there's no person in this card, in some way there's this energy of sort of like it's happening in divine timing too. Like it's fated in some way, like the universe is moving things. So that is why I said that there's this sense of expansiveness in the air. And Jupiter talks about belief, right? Believing in yourself, believing that there is this greater energy, you know, whatever you believe in, the source, the God, Allah, Buddha, whatever, right? But this is about believing something that is greater, that is beyond yourself, right? And this full moon is kind of reminding us of that. And for some people, maybe something you begin or initiate around the time of the new moon in Sagittarius back in December, 6 months ago, is finally starting to take shape, right? Maybe you're receiving some sort of momentum, movement, breakthrough even. Maybe you're receiving some replies or information, right? News, breakthroughs regarding to what was happening back 6 months ago. Maybe the seeds you plant around that time is starting to sprout. You are seeing something is picking up, something is happening, something is moving, right? Starting to move and is gaining momentum, right? So this full moon can feel quite positive, to be honest, for some of us, right? And I want to share the Sabian meaning of this full moon. So regarding this full moon, the Sabian symbol is the gold-haired goddess of opportunity. So very aligned. That's why I want to share it. That very aligned with that trine with Saturn, and having this, because Jupiter is also exalted in the sign of Cancer. So Jupiter is having no problem expressing this Jupiterian energy, right? And to be honest, this 8 of Wands also feel positive for me. So I love this for all of us. Maybe perhaps if you feel like that nothing is really happening, nothing is really moving, like, oh my God, I feel like I'm just like not there yet. Why is it like that, you know? Perhaps this full moon is reminding you that don't lose hope, right? Keep going. What is it that you desire is not too far. It's not too far-fetched anymore. Maybe you will feel that shift very, very quickly and very soon. So don't give up. hope, right? Okay, so let's go back to the Sabian symbol that I want to read for all of us. So again, the gold-haired goddess of opportunity. So it says, disregarding society's definition of success. Fame and fortune is the powerful goddess whom we serve unless we free ourselves from the illusion that she provides happiness. Finding our own definition of what success is. It serves society's interests to incentivize people to work for common good. So reward and recognition are offered to stimulate maximum effort. The pressure is often felt as corrosive and out of alignment with one's sense of soul expression. Yet instead, we can learn to trust that the nature of life itself is to provide for and protect those who walk their own true path, disregarding community approval, disapproval. Okay, so very much aligned with what I just wanted to share, right? This full moon is here to remind us that, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. It talks about your belief system, right? I know this can feel a little philosophical and woo-woo now, that this is about believing yourself, knowing that you are worthy of your desire, the abundance that you want to achieve, the desires that you want in your life, right? This is about you reaching out, trusting, knowing, believing that there is a greater power out there. Like I said before, the source, God, goddesses, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to refer to. This is about knowing that we are more than what the society create, right? The society's norm of success is maybe reaching that career goal, that title, that being a billionaire, right? But nowadays we can see that is changing, right? The younger generation are wanting to do so much more than what maybe my generation or older generation want to. Their definition of success is changing, right? It's not about the fame and fortune, the title anymore. There is also success in creating your dream, creating your desired business, or fulfilling your purpose, right? Is much more than that now. Okay, I'm trying to say what I want to say into words, but this is about what is it that you desire to achieve in this lifetime on this planet Earth with this life that you have, right? Of course, I'm not saying that money is not important. Of course, I do believe that, money is the tools, the medium of energy exchange. We need that in order to survive, but not all of us want to be that billionaire anymore. We define success differently now, right? And what is it that you really want to do, that you desire to do? There is this greater purpose and call that you feel within you. And I feel like as long as you believe and you show up in that energy and you demand it, you take the inspired action to go after it, have the audacity and to go after it, you can also achieve the success that you desire. And for example, right, I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. It used to be just a far-fetched dream. I'm not saying this is all I do, Sometimes I also wonder, is this my true, am I there yet? I don't think I'm there yet, but I am definitely on the path. And I feel beyond grateful to be able to have the chance to do what I'm doing right now, to share what I love, and to be able to use my passion, my gifts that I have to help others. And this is why I'm so grateful for you all to allow me to continue to do what I do by supporting this channel, by sharing, by subscribing, by getting readings from me, right? And I feel like that sometimes, yes, I still have my ego. I wonder, I question myself, but I know that if I continue to listen to my heart and follow my heart, show up in my own authentic self to be just me, that I will continue to walk that path, and I will be able to continue to do what I love and share with you all. And hopefully all of us can do that. So I invite you that under this full moon in Sag, give yourself that moment to go within and know that you might not be where you want to be just yet, but don't give up. As long as you hold yourself accountable, as long as you have the audacity to go after your desires and be disciplined, right? That trine with Saturn. Take the necessary actions to go after it and be authentic about it, right? Don't just say it, but do it. Everyone, all of us, we can achieve our dreams, our desires. What is it that we truly want to be, want to do in this lifetime? And yes, it feels a little philosophical, a little far-fetched, maybe even, and because it feels like, well, everything is just like chaotic, the world is dying, you know, there's so many suffering happening right now, there's so many wars, genocide happening, the economy is like bleh, and the global climate is also scary, like, oh my god, and this can bring us into that fight or flight, that's anxious energy. But I feel like this full moon is here to remind us that yes, while all these are happening, but we can also see that so many of us are trying to break free and wake up to all this illusion that the system is trying to create, that we are all trying to seek parallel alternative path, that we can continue to create community, to create the changes, to be the change that our ancestor wanted. You know, we are here for a reason. All these happening right now are for a reason, and I always want to, I guess maybe also because I am a Sag rising, I'm ruled by Jupiter, I want to believe that we are all here for a greater purpose. And I'm so grateful that my passion, astrology, is helping me to answer some of the questions, to allow me to see beyond just all this, right? And I hope that we can all continue to do the same, right? So all to say, this is our full moon in Sagittarius. I hope I'm not going off too many tangents, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say as well. So I am sending you so much full moon love and blessing. Please take care of yourself. This is what is happening this week. I know it feels like an extreme energy from the beginning and the end of the week, and we're ending the month of May. Next week we will talk about June. June is another story. It's a very mixed bag of energy. There's some high and there's some lows, okay? You know me, I don't sugarcoat it. But I am always with you, along walking this path with you every step of the way. If you're interested in any personal consultation and readings, just contact me. My information in the description box below. And I am sending you lots of love. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.